Sentenced to marry a girl with bobbed hair. Member of Improvement Association is defendant in mock trial with jury of 6 women. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch, February 11th, 1925. To bob or not to bob? That isn't a question at all. At least, the subject of bobbed hair wasn't much of a question last night at a meeting of the Carondelet Improvement Association, in which one of its members was tried before a mock court on a charge of saying, "Women have no right to bob their hair." The court sat in the Carondelet Branch Library, 6800 Michigan Avenue. It was all well for Lawrence McDaniel, counsel for the wretched defendant, to cry out, with mock tears welling up in his eyes, that women had usurped man's last stand when they invaded the barbershop. It was entertaining to hear Charles M. Hay, the prosecuting attorney, rise to an impassioned defense of bobbed hair, while Circuit Judge Piercy, on the bench, tried to screw his face up into a judicial frown and smile at the jury at the same time. But the women on the jury, 3 bobbed and 3 unbobbed, maintained their neutrality to the last. Their faces told the audience that bobbed hair wasn't a question at all, any more than short skirts, left turns, or how do you like your eggs. Each one on the jury had made up her mind on bobbed hair as on the other questions, but each was prepared to see justice in the views of the others. In other words, it didn't make a darned bit of difference to the jury whether bobbed hair was praised or damned by the men, many of them, most of them bald or becoming so, who presented the question. When counsel asked witnesses, "When will I get what you owe me?" or "What is your real name?" the jurors laughed with the rest of the court, and Judge Piercy's mortarboard hat, donned to give solemnity to the occasion, took on a more rakish angle than before. But when counsel got into arguments touching directly on the subject of bobbed hair, the faces of the jury froze into impassivity, and they stared into the middle distance until counsel got off the subject again. Albert J. Michel of 7128 South Broadway, the defendant, stopped most of the verbal shots of counsel with various parts of his anatomy, and was under fire so constantly that one resolved never, no never, to be a defendant in such a vital case. The verdict was probably commensurate with his offense. The jury ordered that the defendant, a more or less confirmed bachelor, marry a bobbed-haired girl within 60 days.